about 10 of these. This is the first time I've ever been picked for this particular storytelling adventure. This goes along the lines of the fact that I am a slight practical jokester. I love the national holiday April Fool's Day. But I really didn't start a history of it. I just sort of jumped into it 2 years ago, and it kind of went nuts. I'm very close to my family. I have 2 brothers and parents who are both lawyers and who are very protective of me. And in April 2007, I decide it's the morning, it's April Fool's Day, I have 5 minutes before a meeting, I'll try this out, why not? I haven't done it in forever. My boyfriend is currently studying for a master's degree in secondary education. Before that, it was school administration, and his dad was a bigwig, and it started this whole program in Seattle. And he had mentioned, oh, it would be really cool if I could go out to the University of Seattle, it would be awesome. And we had been long distance for about a year, and the idea of him going from here to there didn't really make me thrilled. So I was like, I don't want to go out there, and if you do, we're done. So he decided to stay here. And so that was pretty much it. So as part of the joke, I told my parents that he was interested in doing this, and because I didn't want long distance, I decided to go with him. And I'm into fundraising, and I had found a big charity that actually legitimately had a position open that I wouldn't normally take. So in case they fact-checked me, so I told them that we were flying to Seattle for an interview that I'd gotten, and he already had the job, and I knew it was a big thing because I grew up in Philly. My family was on the main line. I went to school in Scranton. I've been to the places, but only for like 2 days. So my family, I emailed them the whole thing. I wait. About 10 minutes later, I get an email from my parents, them both saying, great. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you know, like, we support you. We're not thrilled with it, but if that's what makes you happy, we'll go with it. Well, I'm like, well, that didn't work. Fine. Okay, fine. And I go about my day. I forget about it. And about 2 hours later, I realized I had to tell them it was April Fool's Day. So I emailed them going, haha, thank you so much for being supportive. By the way, it's not helpful to be supportive when it's an April Fool's joke. You're supposed to get mad. 5 minutes later, my mother calls me, flipping out. She's been crying. She's called family. My grandmother has been in tears for 2 hours. Both of my parents traveled. My mother's already booked flights to Seattle for the future. So I'm like, what? Like, you said you were supportive. Oh, I thought we would be supportive, but we didn't actually think you'd do it. I'm like, oh my God. My dad has called his family. He's one of 6. They all call me. Cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone's like, I can't believe you pulled this off. Family, friends who I haven't spoken to in a year are calling me. What were you doing? My uncle, who's my godfather, and the only one of the family who's not married, no kids, calls me and says, you're brilliant, so glad you're not mine. And I'm like, thanks. So I go a year, and you can't bring up Seattle to my mom anymore. She is so, she holds grudges very easily. So a year goes by, it's April Fool's Day again, I'm like, I kind of feel like I had to do something, but clearly a lot, like, way down. So I just do jokes to my parents, my mother, I'm like, I can't do anything like that. So I call her, crying that I have gum stuck in my hair, and I have to get a haircut to cut off my hair. Nothing huge. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I hear this undertone of, like, laughter in her voice, and I can't figure out what that is. And I find out later that it wasn't a, oh, I know what you're doing, we did this last year. It was a, my stupid daughter got gum cut on her hair, and this is ridiculous. My dad believed me when I told him that my company transferred me to somewhere else, and I was going to move. The exact same joke. And I caught him, and he's like, oh my God, I'm going to get you. Well, I'm like, okay. I'm waiting for the end of the day, nothing. And then I'm like, you do realize April Fool's Day is in April? And he's like, doesn't matter. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. 6 months later, I'm driving to my dad's house for dinner at church, and he tells me to be on time, which he never does, because I never am, so it's kind of fruitless. And I get to my house, the house that I've lived in my entire life, been there since age 4, love it. I don't do change very well, so this would be bad. Sold sign on the front lawn. I flip out. I'm with my boyfriend and his new roommate, who's never met my family. I go running up to the house. He's behind me. I slam the door in his face because I am running so fast to this door, through this house. My family has seen me coming in and has been so scared they scattered. They ran. The only No one believes me in April Fool's.